get to our first guest. She's a trailblazer in all sports. 28 years ago, she made her first, became the first woman to play a professional hockey game, like with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And she's written a book. Her children's book comes out in October. Documentary about her. Let's bring her on. Manon Rhéaume.
Hi.
Manon, how are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Manon and I go. We don't go way back, but we actually played together on the same sheet of ice once upon a time in Salt Lake City for Luke and Stacia Robitaille's charity event, Echoes of Hope. And that was one of the highlights of my career, to get to shoot on an NHL goalie. So, that was really kind of fun.
That was a lot of fun. They always have great event for a few years in a row, and I always enjoy going there.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Were you there the day Linda Cohen was in net?
Yes, I played out that time.
Okay. So
one time I played goalie. The rest of the time I was always out. Every goalie's dream to score a goal. So as much as I can.
Funny story. Linda was my goalie in the Plainville Rec League I used to play in for ESPN. She was our goalie, and during warm-up, she had this horrible Rangers mask. And being an Islanders fan, I hated it. And during warm-ups, I'd always buzz a couple right by her ear hole, and she used to get so mad at me every week. But she was my goalie for about 6 years.
That's amazing. What I remember Sorry, go ahead.
No, just that she's amazing. She was a lot of fun to meet there, and knowing that she had a passion for the position. So it was cool to be around her.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And in fairness, she's not the greatest goalie in the world, but she's perfectly fine. And the thing I remember the most about that event is that Derek Armstrong, the ex-LA King and the a couple of other teams, but he gets so pumped up for these events. Like, he doesn't take the pedal off the he's just full on. In warm-ups, he was just firing shots at her head, and I was like, Army, Jesus, settle down. She was, I don't know how old she was at the time.
Yeah, I think guys have a hard time having a girl stuffing the puck. So they try harder. That's what I face in Tampa. I know that every guy's in training camp wanted to score, and same thing when I played. So I can see why.
Right. So it was 28 years ago this week where you made history. Was that day any different for you? Did you prepare any different, or was it just like a normal preparation day?
It was not a normal preparation day. It was a lot more nerve-wracking that I had never experienced before. I always say the walk from my locker room to the ice, that walk, it's probably the moment I was the most nervous in my entire life. I felt like my heart's going to come out of my chest. But the cool thing is, as soon as I stepped on the ice, the butterfly went away, and I was just in my happy place, and I just started playing the game like it was any other game. And it's probably the quickest 20 minutes I ever played. Like, the energy, just to be part of it went so fast.
That's amazing. I can't even imagine how thrilling it must have been.
Yeah, and also right away we got a power play, and I'm thinking, seriously? But I got 2 or 3 shots in a row on that power play, and it really got me into the game and give confidence to the player on my team. And they were working so hard the entire time. Like, they wanted me to do well, and I know they did extra that game, and it was amazing to have that support.
Who was it? I don't know. I have no idea. I want to say, did you play was it St. Louis?
Yes, St. Louis Blues. So Brett Hall, Brendan Shannon, all those guys were there. And that's one of the things they said when they set up the game. They didn't know who they're going to dress. And usually they dress like rookies, but when they came there, Tampa, they had a lot of veterans on their roster. So I think we changed our roster before the game because they think we need to make sure we match up with them.
So what is that like? So obviously you get in the game, you have to kill a penalty right off the bat, and you have Brett Hull sitting on the faceoff circle.
First of all, when you're playing a game, you don't know what's in front of you. You just see the players and you just focus on your game. And like I said, when I stepped on the ice and started playing, I did not. It was not like I was not like thinking I'm playing in the NHL team and look at those guys against me. It's just out there and playing the game and do the best I can.
Yeah, just a game you've been playing your whole life, and it was just, I'm not going to say it was just another game because it wasn't, but your nerves probably calmed down a little bit, and all the hoopla before was gone, and now you were just playing hockey.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
What was it like after the game? I mean, obviously. Sorry, Michael.
Danny, hold on. My audio is terrible, and I just want to make sure that it's not terrible for anyone else. Do you guys hear everything okay?
You're a little crackly.
Yeah.
Why don't you log off and come back in?
Log out and come back in?
Yeah.
Right,
try that. Yeah, that's my technical solving for everything.
I'll be right back.
So, okay. So after the game, obviously there was quite a media presence there. How was it? What was more difficult or nerve-wracking? Getting on the ice and dealing with the game, or then dealing with the media scrum afterwards?
Before the game, that's probably the most nerve-wracking I was. And the cool thing is, after my first period, I remember going back on the ice and skating around, and having players from the other team, Stefan Cantel from the Blues, was skating by me, and he said, "Great job." And it was so cool to hear that from a player from the other team. So that made me feel good. And then, the period was 2-2 when I left the game. So it was nice to be on a tie game. And the media after, it was difficult for me because I was French. I'm still French, but first language. And my English was not as good. So when I had to understand what they were saying and just try to come up with the answer, that was harder than just facing the media. So just to try to deal with the language barrier there.
Now, can you imagine if you made your debut now in the age of social media, how crazy it would have been, now as opposed to it was 28 years ago?
Yeah, I always said that. It's such a different. I've been doing a lot of interviews lately, the last 5 years, and the way my story is portrayed now versus back then in '92 is such a different way. It's the same story, but it's presented a different way. Back then, people were focusing on, it was a publicity thing. Tampa Bay was a new team, so they wanted to get publicity, and now it's more about the performance. So people doesn't realize it's. When they allowed me to play, when they said you're going to start an exhibition game, it's because I had a great camp. Without me having a great camp, there's no way in the world they would have me play an exhibition game. We started right away with the mini tournament, and I remember my first game in the mini tournament. I did not allow any goal in 14 shots, and after the entire tournament, I was the third in the best average and all the goaltender there. So that's made a decision to put me in an exhibition game, but nobody was talking about that. They were rather talking about the fact that I was just there for publicity. And now that people are looking back at this story, and that comes out even more. I remember, I think 20 years later, after the event happened, I had an interview with Terry Chris, that was the coach there. And he admitted, he was the one interviewing me, and he said, listen, when Phil told me that he was bringing a girl, I was not happy with this. But I have to admit it, you deserve to get that game because we played great in camp. And to hear that 20 years later was really cool.
I mean, had it been today with all, like we were saying, all the social media and stuff, it would probably be a bigger story than the NBA for once. For once, the NHL could be a bigger story than the NBA. That would have been amazing.
And let's look back in '92, hockey in the U.S. was not what it is now. And in Tampa Bay in '92, the people there didn't even know hockey. They were there at the game, they thought it was cool, but I don't even know that they knew any of the rules of the game. So now it's I went to them about 2 years ago for a Stanley Cup final, and when the arena is absolutely beautiful, but you see Tampa Bay Lightning jersey everywhere, t-shirt, and people are knowledgeable about the game. They can talk about it, they know what's going on, and it's such a different time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what do you talk about Tampa as a hockey city from then and now? Do you feel a sense of pride now that they've been so successful there, and now that they're up 2-1 in the Stanley Cup final, they might win a cup for the second time in their history? Are you proud of your time there and what they've become now?
Absolutely, they always had a soft spot in my heart for them. Every time they're in the playoff, I always want them to do well, and that was one of the coolest things this year, that my anniversary on the 23rd, that the Tampa Bay was playing the Stanley Cup final. Usually we don't have a Stanley Cup final in September, so it never happened. But it was just a cool moment that day, that knowing that was the team that was there, and be part of it.
Yeah. now, women's hockey now is obviously, transcended so much since, since you played that game. Now, what are your thoughts on the state of women's hockey right now?
Can you repeat that? You cut off every time.
Yeah, sure. What are your thoughts about the state of women's hockey right now?
I think it came a long way since the time I played. When I started playing, I was the only girl playing with a bunch of guys, and I remember a few years after, like, I played like in the minors before playing major junior. I had to play in the women's league, and the only league available was like 2.5 hours away in Montreal. And our game was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night after the kids and after the men. Then they had leftover ice, and the women were allowed to play. Now the girls are playing on the national team, winning gold medal. They have scholarship in the U.S. They have pro hockey. It's not where everybody wants it to be, and but it came a long way, and I think that everybody's working really hard to make it like a true professional league, and hopefully with the support of the NHL and NHL team, it's going to come.
Can you talk a little bit about the children's book that's coming out, Breaking the Ice?
Yeah. Angie Bullaro, she met me a few years ago, and she said to me, I have a project. I want to do a movie with a female lead, and I want to inspire people. And as soon as she said that to me, like, I was in, because that was one of the most satisfying part of what I did. It's my story was able to inspire people. And then along the way, working with the movie, she's a talented writer. She was writing a children's book, and then she decided to write a children's book about my story too. So between the children's book and the movie, Simon is going to publish the book. It's just been incredible. So we've been working together for the last 5 years, and we've become really close. And she's like a sister to me now. And we always joke about it that she knows more about me than myself. Because she's parents to know like more about me. And sometimes my kids told them things that I didn't even know that happened when I was a kid and playing. So that was really cool. Like we talk about something in the past. I'm like, that didn't happen. She's like, yes, your dad told me about it.
I'm going to buy the book when it comes out. I'm going to send it to you, and you have to sign it for me if you don't mind.
So it comes out October 20th. Where will we get it at? Barnes and Noble, Amazon will be available everywhere.
Yeah, right now it's for pre-order everywhere, and on October 20th, and it's on social media. We have a book launch, so. It's free, and it's family friendly. We invite everyone to come to the book launch. That's the one positive thing about this whole situation that we are right now. We have to do everything virtual, but I allow more people to participate and be part of it, and so I'm excited about that.
So how are you keeping busy during the pandemic?
It's been pretty busy because, like, obviously being home now and having my son, like, having to go to school right here, and the last few months just getting ready for the book launch and the 28th anniversary coming up. So with the movie, I've been pretty busy the last few weeks.
Yeah. But, we thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Breaking the Ice comes out October 20th. Get it. And make sure Vartan sends you a check along with the book. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Merci.
Thanks, Manon.
Bye.
Okay, so yeah, make sure everyone buys the book. It sounds
All right.
really great.
She was awesome. Guys, I don't know what's going on with the sound, but
you sound like ass.
Shut up and sit down.